Ladies and gentlemen, booze and movies. Yay.
Yep. Okay. So that's probably the normal weird fucking intro that we always do.
Huh? Oh, yeah, we're podcasting again. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. Life got crazy for a while, and then normal, and then crazy again.
We're aiming to do 3 of these a year. We're gonna get more frequent.
Speaking of things that are frequent, we watched Batman, the original Batman. So 1989 Batman, Michael Keaton.
Well, yeah, not the original Batman, because before that was Adam West, and before that there was even like these Buck Rogers type old reels, right? The serialized.
There was the serial Batmans where it was actually surprising the stunts they would do for what they had. It was really crazy.
But it's original Batman in terms of it after decades of, comics code Adam West Batman being all happy-go-lucky and fun and games and, everything. The whole thing was like everything's labeled in the Batcave. Like, okay, I guess so Robin doesn't accidentally confuse something dangerous for something.
He wasn't a tech kid. He just wasn't. He had trouble with it.
For the drinking fountain? That's my toxic waste fountain. Sorry. It wasn't labeled. But like Tim Burton, because where we last left off, we were talking about how shitty Superman 4 was. Yeah. And how it killed basically mainstream Superman franchise. Yeah. And then like a year later, Tim Burton comes in with Batman, and it brings Batman back to its original, roots, where Bob Kane created it to be the opposite of Superman, where Superman was altruistic and selfless and like, don't worry, I'll save you, haha, and Batman is like, I'm going to punish criminals. Yeah. And it's weird that I don't like Zack Snyder's take on Batman with the new Justice League stuff but it's weird to see people are like very taken aback by Batman just murdering henchmen, but that's where he started. Like he murdered henchmen in the original comics like pretty frequently. Yeah, and just gave zero fucks. He was a legit psychopath. Well,
and people don't realize that even in so we watched the Michael Keaton 1989 Batman, Kim Basinger.
Basinger?
Basinger?
I don't know. Basinger?
And then my favorite, Jack Nicholson. He's one of my favorites. But we watched that one, and watching it again, I watch that movie probably once a year. Mm-hmm. I love that film, and it just dawned on me again that he outright murders people. He even blows up a factory full of Joker goons.
Yeah, as if you're in a purple jacket, you
dead.
Get no mercy.
Yeah, God forbid that's just the jacket you put on that day, and Batman's out swinging.
Right, like, oh, I didn't see you didn't have a Joker logo on this purple satin jacket that you just happened to be wearing.
Yeah, but like you said, like Batman's pretty dark, or at least originally, before they added this moral code like Batman never kills, Yeah, although there are some really good things with that. There's just a sidestep for a second. There's one. It was an animated one, but it was from a graphic novel series that someone did in DC, and it was called Under the Red Hood. And I'm not going to go into it, but basically there's a part where like someone's like, "Why? Like I'm not asking you to kill Dent. I'm not asking you to kill the Penguin. I'm asking you to kill Joker. Just kill him." And he's like, "What, is it too hard for you?" And Batman responds, "No, it'd be too damn easy." Because basically Batman's saying if he goes through killing one bad guy, he's just going to start killing the rest. And we don't have that Batman in this one. He drops a bomb in a factory, blows up the whole factory, drops Mr. Big Goon down. I had to be 15, 20 stories inside that Gothic church.
Yeah, that old abandoned cathedral in the middle of town.
Yeah, and then even in the beginning, like I don't know, when he's holding that guy over the edge, he really had no concern of it if he actually.
Well, he wants it, but it's that classic trope. Like, I want you to tell your friends all about me. I'm going to let you live so you can tell your friends, watch out for the Batman.
Yeah, and to go on with that dark theme, because you talked about that's what Batman was supposed to be. This movie is probably one of the closer representations of the original Batman idea, but one of the things I love about it is Jack Nicholson's Joker. He is my favorite Joker. I know a lot of them talk about the newest Joker. I always forget the actor's name. I'm so bad at this.
What newest Joker? There's been like 3 in the
Dark
past
Knight
10
Joker.
years. Oh, Heath Ledger.
Keith Ledger. Thank you. I don't know why I always forget Keith Ledger's name.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, like the candy bar.
Oh,
Heath.
I think it's because we were talking about Michael Keaton, so I had that hard K in my brain. But Nicholson is my favorite Joker because he was one of the first. Because by that time Joker was in the comics and he was like this happy-go-lucky, like goofy criminal. Like that was his thing. He was like a jester. He was big and flamboyant and clowny. But this Joker was the Joker I love, which is a lot like the Heath Ledger Joker. That he's just fucking crazy. And that's what makes him awesome. He really doesn't do anything for any specific purpose besides doing it.
Yeah.
He has a general thing he's trying to do, but like when he's mad about the balloons and he's like, Bob, gun, and his favorite henchman Bob hands him a gun and he just lifts it up and shoots Bob in the chest. Bob had nothing to do with the fucking balloons getting taken away.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's that thing where the character, you get to see him before the Joker a little bit more than any other Joker
It's the
character.
only
I think
one.
really the only one that has a true backstory and
Besides Killing Joke.
Yeah.
If you've never seen Killing Joke, I do suggest it. It's an animated one, but it's really brilliantly done. And you get the whole backstory of the Joker.
But he's, Jack Napier, the Joker, before he's the Joker, is like, he's like the number 2 mob guy to Jack Palance, Carl Grissom. And he's got the sidekick, thing where he's like, I could be totally number 1. I'm already banging the boss's mistress. It's only a matter of time before I take over this whole thing.
Yeah.
And Grissom sends
he's a
him
worn out old man.
Yeah. And so Grissom gets wise to this and sends him on a mission where he knows he'll get killed or set up by the cops or captured.
Well, he set him
to
up,
take
actually.
him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grissom did.
Yeah, Grissom
Jack
did.
Palance did.
Yeah, so Grissom told the cops what was going on as well as set up the factory because it turns out he owns the factory.
Yeah.
Because that's why Joker owns it later on in the movie.
And that's what this is like stuff that kids in the theater like I wouldn't understand, is that they're trying to erase. Jack wants to go find all the evidence of the mob ties to Axis Chemicals and destroy them so that they can't be tied. It's like a front, right?
Yeah.
They can't be
it was
called out as a front.
It was a money laundering front. They wanted to hide it, so he's like, well, we'll make it go look like industrial espionage, and the government will actually pay out for it in insurance.
And that's part of the kind of like real, making it grounded in some sort of real reality and not just Batman's up gonna foil some hijinks, like Adam West Batman would do,
Do the Batusi.
But even the Joker, he just goes crazy. There's no plot or evil scheme. He wants to kill people with the Smile X. But once Batman, he foils it with his, giving the information about the chemicals to the media, and that just enrages Joker. So, okay, fine, I'm just going to blow up the chemical factory. And after that, it's kind of like, okay, what's left to do but just kill Joker? You know, we just got to kill Joker.
We just got to kill Joker.
And so it kind of, it's weird there, but
I kind of like that, though. I kind of like the simplistic, because at this point, I won't say reintroducing Batman, but kind of reinventing him while also bringing him back what he was supposed to be before Batman.
It's a reboot.
Adam West, and we wanted that. It was that straightforward. At this point, Harvey Dent isn't Two-Face. We don't have Cobblepot turning into the Penguin. Ugh. You don't have all that. You have Batman, and who's Batman's biggest villain?
Yeah.
The Joker.
And it's weird how it's a double origin story.
It is.
It's a Batman origin story in terms of his introduction to, Gotham as the Batman, and also Joker's actual creation origin story.
Yeah, it was cyclical with them.
Yeah.
They started each other, and one of them has to finish the other.
And also, just kind of time and place back in the late 80s, it was really a big deal that Jack Nicholson was in this movie, because
he was huge.
Before that, he was in very high cult, The Witches of Eastwick and
Shining.
The Shining and Chinatown and The Five Easy Pieces. He's a very, he's going to be and this was before our current glut of comic book movies where you see there's a ton of famous people that just show up in these Marvel movies. Like Cate Blanchett is a supervillain, and
well, that's because now, because these superhero movies have become so popular, the studio's like, yeah, actors, you want some money? Come be on a movie.
Well, I think it's more like, hey, Hollywood, do you want some pedigree to these movies? Pay me money. Glenn Close and Guardians of the Galaxy, and Benicio del Toro is the collector.
I love Benicio del Toro.
No, it's fine. No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like Benicio, he's also in Sicario at the same time. You know, like
That's
very
right.
different.
Those came out really relatively the same. But yeah.
But back to like 1989, it was like, okay, you've got Academy Award winning actor Jack Nicholson playing a villain, which he's been bad guys before, kind of, but you know, he really wasn't overtly like, you know, the Joker was a stretch, people thought. And then Michael Keaton, who was like, I mean, he was in Beetlejuice, and he was in like real lowbrow comedy shit like Gung Ho and Mr. Mom, and you know, this was his, you know, first like serious kind of role, I think, too.
Yeah, he kind of like was Mr. Regular Guy until Batman, I think. Well, and Beetlejuice is kind of a step away from that, but he didn't like when you see Beetlejuice, not Michael Keaton. But when you see Batman, you see
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, and I mean, we can talk another day about Beetlejuice because I can go up and down the ladder of things I love with that movie. But this Batman, probably along those lines of being dark, probably had the best thing that could have happened to it is Tim Burton was in charge.
Yes,
and that Gotham City. Like you were saying while we were watching it, because we kind of watched it again to kind of like reinvigorate our memories of it. But you even said it, and it really is true. Like it looks like a city that they said, you know, even in the movie, they're having a 200-year anniversary of the city, and the city it's built over itself, which is built over itself. There's bridges and skyways literally scaffolded around old buildings. There's these big rusted iron struts holding up these causeways and things, and these little like corner buildings just shoved in other things.
All this duct work and all you know, everything is just jumbled together in this. It's like this mix of old Gothic versus new. You know, I just love how it works for the plot because the Joker uses it to blow his gas everywhere. As these vents are in the museum.
Yeah,
scene.
they're just everywhere.
There's just these giant vents like. Was this built inside of an old power plant, or what? Was it repurposed from, you know?
Yeah, like the museum used to be a steel mill or something. That was the ventilation system for the workers.
There's a couple of long shots of the skyline where you see there's this building that looks like this twisted wreck, and then there's these vents outside of it that come out from the bottom and go up to the top.
Yeah, it's just oozing smoke.
And
in
it's
the
like,
atmosphere.
oh, I guess that's the ventilation system. It looks almost. Kind of like Idiocracy, where they got all these buildings tied together with rope.
Yeah,
you know? It's just they're all just kind of cobbled together, and you're treated like you're just in Gotham. This first scene where this, you know, hapless family from the Midwest is just running around looking for a cab, while there's vice everywhere. There's just prostitutes hanging. There's open trash can fires on main streets
that make advances to underage
in front of his parents.
Yeah, and which is, I mean, bold of her trying to open up a new market, but
and I get it's kind of like, you know, the way New York was in the 70s and 80s, where it's like we want to visit the historical touristy parts of the city, but in order to get that, we have to go through Times Square, which is a shithole, or was, you know, 30 years ago, and it does it perfectly, but it's also got that retro look where there's men in trench coat and hats.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
Gotham is so 40s, like where Batman originated, early 40s. It's got that, not Art Deco, but that noir. No, that's earlier.
The city is very Art Deco, very very broad, structured lines, and then like the style of it is very 40s. Like you dress up to go out and to do anything.
Yeah, Robert Wool, who is Elliot Knox, the made-up reporter. I don't even know if Elliot Knox has a character in the comic books at all.
No, he was made up. So was Vicky Vale. They were both kind of made up for that.
I think Vicky Vale was in the comics, but.
I meant
I don't remember like
interaction.
But Knox is kind of like he's the guy you relate to. He's trying to find out about the Batman. He's, you know, and he's the guy. He's the journalist. No one takes seriously. Yeah. Like, you know,
hey, this is Pulitzer Prize winning stuff here.
Good Hollywood trope there. And then, but he is in like a double-breasted suit with a hat. You know, the whole
little red bow tie.
Yeah, like very very retro. But you know, you still see like, you know, Chrysler cars, like sedans, like modern cars.
Yeah, and Batman's got a supercomputer in the Batcave, and you know
the very high tech, giant air cooled Panasonic VHS spy cams behind the mirror,
behind the biggest mirror.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what's cool about this Batman is you mentioned this as it started, but they used the score from this Batman movie for Batman the Animated Series.
Oh yeah, there would be no animated series without this movie. Just really set the tone for that whole show.
It did, and that is also one of my favorite things of all time is Batman the Animated Series. But this movie's score, its look, just the feel of everything, because it was that neat, like we had the Art Deco buildings with the 40s style, like, wear on everybody, as well as, you have this high-tech stuff that everyone has too. Like Joker has this big antennaed remote he can control his balloons with, and, gas masks, and Batman's got the coolest damn toys in this.
The most wonderful toys.
The most wonderful toys. He really, really does. He's... like I was mentioning to you, like there was actually one of the video games, or one of the people who were helping kind of write the game script loved that little double grappling hook shooter Batman had in this movie and wanted to use it. So it's actually a main component of the video game. You use it a lot. And it was just, I don't know. It was like all the pieces that could have made the movie awful are in the right amounts to make the movie great. And I think a lot of that comes from Tim Burton, because he, especially with like Beetlejuice, where he had like the very serious, weird shapes, on the guy's model and on the underworld, and then like everything outside of that is just this regular town.
Yeah, and I always liked about, the end of Beetlejuice, where they kind of have the wedding, and there's this weird little minister demon guy. So when he shows up, the fireplace turns into this mangled mouth of hell type thing. It's just all weird, and and I think that's Beetlejuice got him Batman. I think because it was like year after one after another.
Yeah, it got him Michael Keaton too.
And before that, I don't know if Tim Burton had anything, because then he went on to do Scissorhands.
He had Frankenweenie.
Okay.
It was a short, but it set up his dark tones. That he liked to use.
And speaking of weenies,
speaking
of
of
little wiener dog trying to get in here.
Yeah, we mentioned Frankenweenie, and a dachshund came up to the door and tried to get in.
Oh, those dachshunds.
But that's kind of my point, is like Tim Burton has this eye for like dark fun almost.
Yeah.
And it fit with this Joker, it fit with this Batman, it fit with this Gotham City.
Well, and that's, again, you always got to mention Frank Miller, because Dark Knight Returns did come out before this, and there's a lot, especially in terms of the Joker trying to be, he doesn't really try to be a media star, but it kind of reminds me of him taking over the press conference, and the news broadcast kind of reminds me of when they had Joker on Letterman, basically, in Dark Knight Returns, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to kill everyone here." Ha ha ha. And then he does it, and everyone acts all like, "Oh my God, he's actually he's not reformed. He's not, and it's like but here it's like, well, it's a new joke, it's it's a Joker introduction, so it's more people like don't know how to react. They're just, "Oh, he's trying to kill us. Someone please help us."
Yeah. Well, and he even plays himself off as like a hero for the city. He's like, "I'm going to drop $2 million from the sky." And it's just a ploy to get everyone in the street so he can release the gas and kill them.
And that it's never explicitly stated, but it's also kind of a, one of the Joker tropes throughout all the different incarnations is to prove that hey Batman, these people aren't worth saving. Look, they'll just run out, they'll murder each other for $20 million. Look at what they do. And it's kind of touched on here, but not quite. It's more show than tell. Exactly.
And that's, I think, why I love this Joker so much, is he's that crazy Joker. And I think Jack Nicholson is one of the biggest reasons why this crazy Joker works. Because, he proved it in The Shining. And Jack Nicholson, if no one out there has seen this, just type in Jack Nicholson Shining behind the scenes. And you see some of his getting prepped
when he's like murder, kill.
Yeah, and he has the axe, and he's literally
the axe.
He's swinging an axe into a table while the guy's just setting up lights.
Well, the best scene is when he's following Shelley up the stairs, and he's like, just give me the bat. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains. And he just does it with a big smile on his face, and it's just, that's what he brought to the Joker was. It's really just it's all very, there's some intelligence to it with the chemistry of creating the gas and the mix of the chemicals and the home products and all that.
Yeah.
But there's also, it's almost like Nuclear Man, where he just wants Lady. He wants Vicky Vale. He wants, and this weird kind of, I'm an artist, I'm the first homicidal artist or whatever.
Yeah,
kind of thing, which they really don't get too deep into.
No, but that would have been cool. If he hadn't, spoilers, if he hadn't died at the end of this movie, it actually would have been cool, because there's actually in one of the Batman video games and in some of the comics, when you are getting the origin of Harley Quinn, you actually have that. Harley Quinn, while she's his therapist, she's in charge of trying to be a therapist for the Joker, which is like impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But Joker actually gets her to follow him by her finally understanding him. And it's that same lines is she finally says, she's like, oh, I finally understand why you do what you do. She's like, you're an artist and you're not appreciated and you just want to be appreciated for your art.
Yeah.
And that one was straight up spelled out because even the Joker's like, you're right. You figured it out. And he's so happy. This is that same Joker, but he's not telling anyone that. He's just like, he just says, I'm an artist. And he does things that he thinks are a showpiece.
He melts some supermodel's face.
Yeah. And because he wanted
which
her
makes
to be,
her go crazy for some reason. But,
probably the pain, like him. Except he was in a vat of acid a little longer than she was.
Right.
And in that we get this great thing too. I know you said it was the double origin story. Jack Napier shot Bruce's parents, and Bruce accidentally dropped Joker into a vat of acid.
Yeah, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Ha! Circles within circles. But it's actually something cool that keeps Batman interesting, I think, is especially if you follow along with Batman the Animated Series, which it basically continues off of this movie.
It's very much an animated adaptation of this world that Tim Burton created, then Joel Schumacher took a big shit on with Batman Forever.
Yeah. But can we at least agree that Batman Returns is good? I love Batman Returns. I really DeVito as the Penguin as
it's
this
just
like gross
it's
mutant
too
penguin.
over the top. It should nah.
I have reasons why I like that Penguin though, but we can talk about that another day. But my point to being Batman the Animated Series took that idea of him creating the Joker, and they did it again. He was still responsible for Jack Napier falling in the acid, getting messed up, getting driven insane by the pain of it. But
also getting shot in the face. People don't. It kind of happens pretty quickly, but he takes a ricocheted bullet straight.
Oh yeah,
like cheek to cheek.
Cheek to
That's
cheek.
why he's
Goes
got
through
the
his
smile.
mouth. Yeah, but in Batman the Animated Series, Batman actually is responsible for every single one of his greatest villains. Because the Penguin wanted to be this upscale society guy.
Predestination paradox.
Bruce Wayne pissed him off, and he went underworld, and he was pissed off with the rest of the upper class because like he sees himself as educated and elite also.
Well, and I know that's the thing with him in Batman Returns is Oswald Cobblepot would have been Bruce Wayne had he not been disfigured.
Exactly.
For some it's just his rich parents had a crazy looking baby and threw him in the sewer, and that's just the only. He was raised by penguins. And we're okay. That's okay.
Yeah, but in Batman the Animated Series, it's done a little better. And then like Two-Face, Batman really is Harvey Dent was there.
Mm-hmm.
And gets disfigured, and it fucks him up because he blames Batman. Batman
couldn't stop the acid attack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, actually, in that one, it wasn't acid. It was a burning. It was a substance that just got lit on fire and fell all over his
magnesium
face.
or something.
It was some sort of liquid that blew up, but it burnt his face. And even Clayface, which I don't know how much you know about Clayface, but in Batman the Animated Series, Batman is even a little. As Bruce Wayne is a little responsible for Clayface.
Clayface is a guy that kind of gets Dr. Manhattan, right? In his own experiment?
No. So Clayface was an actor who he was known, he was the man of a million faces.
Confusing him with Sandman from Spider-Man 3?
Yes.
Okay.
But
I'm so sorry.
But Clayface was the man of a million faces, super famous actor, but he started getting older. And in his desperation, he started through these mob guys who stole the stuff for it. He was buying this illegal and experimental makeup cream that would literally let you mold your face into whatever you wanted. And he fell behind on his debts, and to murder him, they made him drink it until he died. And then it permeated all his cells, and he became Clayface. He could form himself into whatever he wanted. Although that Clayface is a little darker because he's slowly dying because it doesn't stay in your body.
Yeah, I kind of remember that where he's kind of like the changelings on Deep Space Nine where he can't keep himself together eventually.
If he becomes emotional, yes.
Yeah.
His emotional state is a big component to what allows him to stay together. Sorry to get off on that tangent, though. But my long point being, it's really cool when the superhero creates their own worst villain. And I think Batman does that the best. And this Batman is within that jigsaw puzzle of Batman creating his awesome villain.
And that's where the Joker comes from in Dark Knight, where not Dark Knight Rises, but where it's like, oh, I'm going to rise to there's a new, Batman's presence has upset the balance between the corruption and the, in the city. And so now is my turn to rise up and be the villain to equal that level of blunt justice.
Yeah, which he even says it. He says, "I won't kill you because you're too fun to mess with, and you won't kill me because of some moral code."
Yeah,
and so it's that whole thing, which comes in a Killing Joke again. But this Batman had that. It had that fun of the Joker too. He doesn't outright say it, but Joker, and you said because lady, which is like Nuclear Man, because lady. That's why they're fighting. But we have that cool point of that, like. At some point, because Joker realizes that Batman's saving his lady, Joker just starts fucking with Batman because lady.
Well, okay, because like in the museum scene, he invites, he sets up Vicky Vale by luring her there. She thinks she's going to have dinner and another one-night stand with Bruce Wayne. And
they make it a two-night stand.
And he's talking about, like, he's looking at her performance like, I want you to shoot my art, basically, which is, I always pictured like he wants to murder people then have her film the body or shoot the bodies or shoot the crime scenes.
Kind of like a Sander Cohen quad tick kind of thing. You don't know who that is, I don't think.
No.
BioShock. Beautiful video game, but there's a crazy artist that does the same thing. He asks you to go out and murder people in specific ways and take a picture of them.
Okay.
And he wanted Vicky Vale for
And I'm also kind of thinking of Jude Law's character in Road to Perdition, where he's the mob hitman who also takes photographs of his victims.
Yeah.
And sells them.
Haven't seen that in so long.
Oh, that's a great movie. But like, so like, yeah, he wants, like, because he sees Bob gets a picture. He says Bob out to jail Bruce Wayne or Vicky Vale or whoever gets a picture of her, and like, oh, she's my new muse or something, and and then goes off on trying to get her on his team or trying to make her psycho like him. So to join, like, I kind of thought like it was almost a proto Harley Quinn, even though that character was years away from being created and developed as in part of the animated series. It was almost like he was trying to make her as crazy as him to join him. It didn't work with Alicia because she just turned into a fucking zombie. But he implies she commits suicide. I'm pretty sure he threw her off the building.
Oh yeah, well, I think the crack in the mask was supposed to look like a bullet hole.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
I think he shot her in the face.
Yeah,
because it's on. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it's on the same side as the acid scar.
Right.
So.
Or she shot herself in the face.
Or she shot herself. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right. It was the kind of origin idea of Harley Quinn. Like he wants someone as crazy as him to share the crazy with him. In fact, when Harley Quinn was created, actually in Batman the Animated Series, she really just was a crazy henchman.
Yeah,
who was in love with him.
Yeah,
and they've kept that even nowadays with the new bastardized fucking shit Batman movies that they have. They've kept that idea is that Harley Quinn is in love with the Joker. That's one of her driving forces. In Batman the Animated Series, she was in love with him, but she was just a ditzy weirdo who happened to like crime.
Yeah,
and was kind of an acrobat. So she was skilled. She had talents that worked in the crime world. This one, he wanted someone to share the crazy, to share his art, as he was calling it. But she wasn't interested. But it keeps going that because he's fucking crazy, he just assumes that she's still with him. That's why he's treating her like a pissed off boyfriend, when Bruce Wayne is in her apartment.
Yeah.
He's like, every time I come to see you, there's someone who interrupts, and he's just all pissed off. And that's kind of, I don't know, a great component of that movie is a lot of the driving forces. Like you said, there's not much. There's Batman is good guy. Joker
it relies
is good
a lot
guy.
On canon.
It does.
Just, what Batman is. You know who Joker is. Here it is in a very 80s setting.
Yeah.
New setting. And that's, nothing's very... There's not a lot of groundbreaking stuff in this movie regarding the characters.
No. And you even set up that the plot is, very straightforward. Is, good guy has to defeat bad guy. When you need something to fill the time. It's like, well, what do we fill the time with? Well, Batman and Joker fighting over a lady.
Yeah, and he also has to prove to the people that he's a good guy too, by defeating the bad guy. Because they're not quite sure. Oh, there's one throwaway line like the cops say you're as bad as the Joker or something like that.
Yeah, he's a menace just like the Joker. Yeah. Everyone in Gotham City sounds like this, and I think it's because of the smog.
It's the smoke.
Yeah.
Well, it's everyone. It sounds like Eckhart. Shoot to kill.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about the future, Jack. Who's just perfect fat slob cop on the take.
Yeah. And then we have Lando Calrissian in this movie.
Hey, Gotham, I'm going to clean up the city and then have a cool Colt 45.
Which, you can't be mad. He played the Dent character well, although it was very minor in this movie. Dent was kind of around, but he was there and he played the part really well.
It was, we've got to show that there is some sort of authority in Gotham that is just helpless. They don't get in. I mean, there's Eckhart, which represents the police corruption because he's literally taking money directly from Jack Napier to be a dirty cop.
In white bread.
In wax paper or whatever. Like, it's not even.
If you look, it was in bread. It was supposed to be like a sandwich.
Oh, okay.
Because I think there's a subtle comment where he says there's extra lettuce on there for you or something like that. Okay. I think he says that line, or maybe I'm thinking of a different movie.
All I saw were $100 bills.
Oh, it was sticking out of bread. That's why I made the joke to Heather. I ordered wheat.
Oh, I see. Now I get it. But then you get like this mayor, this old man mayor, just wants to have his 200th. He just happens to be the mayor in office for 200 years of Gotham, and God damn it, he wants to have his parade.
He has a hell of a stick up his ass about it.
And there's this great line where they're like, Harvey Dent's like, well, we're already $250,000 in debt, and we don't have any balloons, or it's almost like Fire Festival, where it's like, where's the money going?
Yeah,
that's how effing corrupt the city is, like. But the mayor's just like, we got to show the people that they live in a decent city and all that. And no, you don't. You live in this is not Metropolis, friends. Yeah. This is Gotham.
Well, and they have that they push that there's that economic problem. He's like, if you fill this square with people, businesses will come back here.
Yeah.
And yeah, so obviously Gotham has an issue. The economy's bad. Bruce Wayne apparently is still doing great.
Well, yeah, because he's old money. He Wayne Enterprise, and it is weird how there is no mention of like Wayne Enterprises or Bruce Wayne's daytime life. He's absent. Like, it shows a place for him on the dais when Harvey Dent is getting introduced as DA.
Yeah,
and he's not there. Like, oh yeah, that's Bruce Wayne. He's absent from most public life because he's a swinging dude. But then he's having a fundraiser for the city celebration, apparently, like, because there's one lady, she's collecting donations, like Save the City or whatever, Save the Foundation, or the fundraiser.
It was
Save the celebration.
It was like a pep rally, basically, for the centennial celebration.
And all the decadent public officials, like Commissioner Gordon, are out having fun time, pretending to be rich,
playing rapid craps.
Playing crap. Yeah, he's just throwing. We don't even know what he's scoring. He's just, I'm throwing dice.
Yeah, like as soon as they get the dice back to him, he's already chucking them. He's not like moving his bets or nothing.
Yeah. Clackety clack.
And
grits and gravy.
And then Dent is behind him with his two lady friends. And
yeah, Dent is like the guy from Exterminator 2, where he's like, hey, I want you to introduce my new friends, Stunlight and Sunbright. All right.
Well, it's funny, too, because he just brings them in behind Gordon, sits for a second, and then leaves. And then, like, these two ladies are there. And you just have to think, it's like, why does he have two ladies with him?
Yeah.
If he's the the DA, shouldn't he be, shouldn't he be like really kind of proper? And
maybe he's married, has a wife. I don't know.
Or maybe Gotham is totally all about polyamory and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, well, it's Gotham sucks. There's no rules of behavior or decorum in Gotham.
Maybe that's why the crime is so bad.
That's why and they really went overboard on the. I'm sure it was like an outdoor lot set, like a back lot set. There is no scene in Gotham City where there isn't trash just all over the streets, just permanently embedded in the concrete, basically. Yeah. And especially the scene where he goes to the alley to drop the roses where his parents died. And I'm speaking of Bruce Wayne, of course. And I'm just thinking, like, dude, someone probably just pissed on that a minute ago.
There was a weird looking puddle near him, and it wasn't a rainy day in the scene.
It's like, maybe we just forget. It's like, you must really be compelled to visit that spot to walk through, that garbage in the street.
You think he'd be a reasonable man and put the roses on their graves?
You would think that they would have probably a tomb somewhere in a big fancy cemetery that does not get pissed on.
I don't know. It is Gotham City.
Well,
and it's built over itself. That graveyard is probably under a Starbucks or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And that Starbucks is owned by the mob. And you can't even be safe in there.
It's a money laundering Starbucks. Yeah. Well, speaking of the city, though, beautiful matte paintings and miniatures in this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a beautiful shot with the balloon where they actually, it doesn't really zoom out, but it looks like they made a smaller version of the gas balloon in the miniature to make it look even bigger, even though they have the actual balloon in front of the actors and it's not all that big.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of a neat thing. It's very kind of Ghostbusters as it's coming around not Ghost, what am I thinking of? Not Ghostbusters. Oh yeah, the new Ghostbusters. That's that dumb piece of crap.
I thought of Ghostbusters when Joker makes Vicky Vale walk up 100 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking of when they have this big heroic scene where they're charging through the lobby of Dana's building, and all of a sudden they're just at floor.
What are we on? 33.
Yeah.
Or no, what is she on? 33.
Yeah. And they're just charging up with these proton packs, and so it's like Batman. They walk up these stairs in a matter of minutes for the bell tower scene.
One and with the scenes too, we both kind of ended up seeing similarities between Dark Knight and this Batman movie, especially with the Joker in the open street. Everyone's cleared out, and he's sitting there letting Batman shoot at him, basically.
Yeah.
To prove that he's not afraid of Batman. And I kind of like this one better than Dark Knight. I like
to me
Joker acting.
In Dark Knight, Joker has already had his discussion with Batman where, like, you can't kill me because you have your moral code. I'm either going to hold you to that or make you break it.
Yeah.
Which will break you, apparently.
It's that whole thing. Joker wins no matter what.
When Batman is charging at him on the bat cycle and shooting his machine guns and all, he knows he's purposely missing because he can't. He's just getting his anger out.
Yeah.
But with this one, it's like he just stands there. He doesn't know he's being targeted. And you see from Batman's point of view, when it's targeted, like he's got the red dot on his face. He's got 2 Stinger missiles and fucking 50 caliber machine guns. And they just miss. And there's like, to me, there's no reason for Joker to expect that he would miss and stand there for unless he just is so crazy he's got a death wish anyway. He doesn't care.
Well, I think that's the point. Because it's that whole idea that no matter what happens, the Joker wins.
Yeah.
They didn't really play it up in this movie. They really did in Dark Knight, because if Batman snaps and kills Joker, Joker wins, because that's what he wanted.
But it's, again, they don't know that Batman. I think if Batman had killed Joker on the float, the city would just like, oh, Batman saved us.
Yeah. Or would they be like, wow, this guy kills people?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
He needs to kill people away from the public eye.
Right.
But I like that Joker for the fact. I love that similarity. I don't know if they did that purposely in Dark Knight, tried to kind of bring that idea back. But I love that there was that, whether it's intentional or not, there was that similarity. We had this Joker basically facing down Batman, being like, I'm not really scared of you, buddy. And that's just a beautiful thing for the Joker character.
Yeah, in Dark Knight, it's kind of like he has nothing to lose. He's just there.
Well, yeah, he even says in the movie, he's like, I'm like a dog chasing cars. I have no idea what I would do if I actually caught one.
Yeah.
And it's that same idea. And I actually love that scene where like Batman just made him crash that big old truck, and he straight up like falls over and fires a machine gun because he's all fucked up.
Yeah.
And he gets back up and he's just like shooting at Batman. He's like, "Come on," And
well, it's even when he gets Batman on the ground and his henchman tries first to get the mask off and gets electrocuted. He starts beating up and spitting on the henchman, like, fuck you, And
they do that with this one too. The Bob gun, please.
Yeah.
and that Joker, I know I keep talking about the Joker, but he really is my favorite Joker because I don't know. I think Jack Nicholson plays crazy really well. I mean, The Shining proved that, but to put that basically that Shining-esque just crazy and put it in the Joker. Just works.
Yeah.
And there's been other people who have played the Joker and done great. I mean,
we've talked about Mark Hamill.
Oh yeah,
took
invented
the character.
The Joker we all do now.
Yeah. Because before Jack Nicholson, the only other Joker was basically Cesar Romero, who was just a dude in makeup.
Yeah.
And a smile.
But it was really flamboyant, like ha ha ha!
Yeah.
I'm the Joker.
He's a bad guy because the screen is tilted.
Yep. And does the
and again, that's comics code Batman. That's because I actually, you're going to laugh at this, but I took a semester in college. It was an experimental class called Comics as Literature, and it's kind of that vein of it's not comics, it's graphic novels, But we studied stuff like Harvey Pekar and Crumb and Mouse, which was a very sobering commentary on the Holocaust. But like all studying Batman, this is where I learned about the original idea for Batman was this very gruesome psychopath who just, if you're bad, I'm going to kill you type of guy, vigilante. And, bringing it back to that, comics code happened in the 60s where it's like, it was the same thing. It was the same Reefer Madness type thing where it's like children are being, it's a bad influence. These things they're looking at, it's we got to save the children. And so Comics Code Batman was like, hey kids, we got the Bat family. There's Batman, Batwoman, Batgirl, Robin, and even a Bat alien guy. Like, remember the little dude from like Flintstones would show up? It was kind of like that, but in a bat suit.
Yeah.
It was like, remember to drink your milk and go to school and be like Bruce Wayne and be smart.
Bat Dog.
And Bat Dog, and I'm sure there was Crypto, the super dog too, for Superman.
Yep.
It's like Superman was already like that. Superman was already altruism and sugar and sweet. And, but Batman, to do that to Batman, to make his tights purple instead of dark, and to make him Adam West Batman.
Well, and they've turned him to blue and gray instead of the jet black.
Yeah.
And the gray black.
And that's where the only kind of vestiges in the Tim Burton movie of the comic book Batman is he's got the black rubber suit, still has the big yellow bat and the big yellow bat
buckle
on the chest and the big yellow utility belt. And it's like, oh, it's still kind of the comic book. Because if you look at like Batfleck and
it's all dark.
Christian Bale, he has like a utility belt, but it's very blended in. He has the Bat logo, but it's black on black,
Yeah. Well, I think the yellow and black Batman thing is something I always loved. It's because it just accented the character, I think. I know it came from the Comics Code thing, but it really was a neat thing. It was almost like a mental thing, like a light in the darkness kind of thing, as they were going with the new direction of who Batman was, his moral code and everything like that. But he was, that big yellow black. I mean, you even look at the cover of the DVD and you see that big yellow shiny logo, and you're just Batman.
And that was, I don't know, because you might be too young, but I was 9 years old. That was the poster was just that logo.
Oh yeah,
and a date like we're coming in winter.
I actually want that poster to go alongside the Batman Returns. One there because it really is like that's all you needed.
Yeah,
like Batman.
Yeah,
that's all you needed was Batman. Although the symbol on his chest looks drastically different from the one on the poster. I won't get into that. Batman's wings had little tails on them.
Yeah.
Minor difference, but bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they probably did that because when you put it, when they put it on the skyline, when it was for the poster, you wanted it to look edgy, edgy and dark. So you got to sharpen up those wings a little bit. That's just my idea.
Well, and that's also the great opening sequence where the camera is traveling through the Bat logo. You don't know what it is yet. Like, well, we're in this cave that has very sculpted walls, and then it just pulls out. It's like, oh, dun 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 dun, Batman. It's really cool.
And then the dun 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 dun. Speaking of that, they use that score for Batman the animated series.
Yeah,
Danny Elfman, man.
Trumpet chorus. And then what's the guy's name? Kevin Conroy. As good as Mark Hamill was at the Joker, Kevin Conroy did that the dark, brooding. Voice.
There's actually apparently Conroy and Mark Hamill are still pretty good friends.
Good
because of that. In fact, there was they came out with that. I think it was the 20. Was it the 20th anniversary or 30th anniversary?
That's good because they could probably, the way Hollywood works is you just go and record your lines. They don't care about if you're friends with your co-stars. They probably never even met each other until maybe like 4 years into that show.
I don't know.
It's a good chance.
90s, they might have been in the same studio. Maybe not in the same room, but they might have been like glass paneled.
No, they wouldn't
recording booth.
No, they wouldn't do it. They don't do that like that. They would just record their lines separately. Yeah. But anyway.
But they are, so Mark Hamill randomly sent something out when this like anniversary box set came out. And it was this huge deal because I still want it too because it's the entire series. And Mark Hamill sent this thing. He's like, hey, I never would have been the Joker without my Batman. You are still like my co-star. Oh, and it's cool to see that respect from Mark Hamill still years later, loving having been the Joker with that Batman.
I think Mark Hamill, just not to get off topic here, but we've discussed him in relation to Star Wars and how he was done with Star Wars after Return of the Jedi and wanted to get back into some real acting, and it's like Michael Corleone and the Mob. I keep trying to get out, they keep pulling me back into this sci-fi shit with the Guyver and Slipstream and
Slipstream.
He finally that was his own. He could work but not be Luke Skywalker.
He was just a credit. The only thing that made him Mark Hamill was the credit. Yeah. Other than that, he was the Joker.
Yeah, and But I think finally now that he's back in Star Wars and he's on Twitter like every day, I feel like he's finally acclimated to fame and he enjoys being famous and enjoys people after him for autographs and retweets and
I don't know if he
enjoys
it or maybe he's just done trying to fight it. Like it's that.
And he's just
thing.
acquiesced,
Yeah,
like accepted it.
He's just like, you know what? He's like, fine, I'm fucking Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Jesus. Because
Also, cha-ching, because coming back to Star Wars with I think even his blip of a cameo in Force Awakens was like, okay, we're gonna take care of you, Mark. You're not gonna have to worry about money again. We're Disney. We're the money people.
They rubbed some pennies together in front of him, and
do you see what we did with Marvel? Look what we did with Marvel. Now we're gonna do that with Star Wars. It's like,
except we're gonna try to keep the Marvel ones good, and Star Wars, we're just gonna kind of put them out.
Star Wars is gonna poop them out every year.
That's we tried to talk about Star Wars in the Star Wars episode, and it didn't work. It's hard to talk about it.
Well, it's weird how with Force Awakens it was 2 years before it was like literally winter of 2015 or 2013-14. We're like, it's the teaser trailer when where Finn pops up and you're like, oh my god, Black Stormtrooper on a desert planet, what's gonna happen? And that was 2 years before, and now it's like, okay, we get it. They released the teaser trailer for episode 9 like 2 weeks ago, and the movie comes out this December. And it's like, okay, we get it. You're sick and tired of Star Wars, but we still have to finish this trilogy.
Yeah, they've committed.
We've got to let's just get, and it's like C-3PO, here we go again. Let's just get this over. Let's just get this over with. And they even say the end of the saga. It's like, finally, like at the end of Back to the Future 3, like finally it says the end.
But all three of the Back to the Futures were good,
except for the Mandalorian that's going to come out now. But
did they go through with it? I thought they canceled Mandalorian.
I think they're doing it. I think they're going through with it again.
Well,
anyway,
I mean, it has chances of being good.
But like, you think about that. There's no Batman land at Disney World.
No,
there's no Batman. There's no. Hey, do you want to walk through Gotham City and experience? There's none of that.
No, because you're gonna get hit on by prostitutes and then shot.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't
get robbed.
You
can't find a taxi, and even in Disney Gotham.
That's like the point. They hire people in little taxi cabs to be dicks and just drive away.
All of a sudden, Benny the Cab from Roger Rabbit shows up. Disney crossover. Right?
You're gonna get in or not? Then you get to see an upskirt from Jessica Rabbit. Yeah. That's true. If no one knows this, if you get Roger Rabbit on VHS,
I have it.
Go slow, tick by tick. There is an upskirt they put in there. It's all just red bush, but
and I'm sure I saw it in the theater. I did see it in the theater because I was 8 years old and I was like, oh my god, it's cartoons and people at the same time. Let's go see this. And Daffy Duck and Donald Duck in the same scene, and Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse in the same scene. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Clickbait, but it was actually a really good noir crime movie. Roger Rabbit.
They did a good job.
The Bob Hoskins stuff was really good.
Yeah, they did a good job mixing noir and funny. It actually worked out. There's a ripoff movie called The Cool World.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, Hollywood if she
Brad
could.
Pitt,
Yeah.
Brad freaking Pitt, and the entirety of that. The whole plot line of that is way less goofy. They tried to make it darker and it doesn't work. Like the guy fucks up the whole universe because he has sex with a cartoon character.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Know why it led to that.
And then Hollywood wants to be human or something. That's the plot. And she'll do anything to be human.
She wants to be human. And then Brad Pitt turns into a Pit Boy style cartoon at the end, or Vault Boy style cartoon at the end. That's Vault Boy there, in case you didn't know.
Well, it's very retro looking.
Yeah, but that's a tangent on a tangent.
Well, that's also, Cool World came out in the early 90s when Burton was setting the tone for kind of noir.
Fun.
Yeah. Same thing with like Darkman and, I want to say.
How good is Darkman?
Yeah, right?
Freaking Liam Neeson. See the dancing freak. Only $5.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I think I just love dark superheroes.
Yeah.
And Darkman's kind of cool because he's almost like if Joker and Batman crossed over, because he gets driven insane from the pain, but that's his superpower is all the adrenaline he has from the pain.
Yeah.
And he's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I liked it. Maybe we'll talk about Darkman sometime.
Let's do it.
I do love Darkman. He's Liam Neeson. We're on that.
That's that reminds me. Who describe the character of Qui-Gon Jinn? He is Liam Neeson. Back to Star Wars again.
But that's
normally
Batman.
we can't escape Star
I
Trek.
personally
but
love
this
it.
time we can't escape.
Great
Batman
movie.
Star Trek
Yeah,
crossover.
that was
They've done it with Batman and
mention in
X-Men.
the
Why
last
not?
hour
Or
of
X-Men and
Star
Star Trek. Why not? Batman and Bruce Wayne gets transported to the future, or the crew of the Enterprise comes back in time to
Because he's essential to.
yeah. And like, wait a minute, there's no record of Gotham City in the history books. We're in an alternate timeline or some alternate parallel mirror universe.
If that happened, Batman would come back with the real cool toys. Oh, you want to shoot at me? I'll just transport you into space.
We've got phasers now. Beep.
Yeah, he just vaporizes everyone.
Hey, Joker, I'm going to teach you a new term. It's called red shirts. See all you guys? They're red shirts. Pew, pew, pew.
No matter where I shoot, I'm going to hit one of them.